So, Newabell in chat screams pulling the boys in that last game. I don't know if you pull drones if it counts as pulling the boys. I think that's just like laying on the cheese extra thick. I don't know how you want to look at it, but game number 2 quickly underway. Spawning here on the top left corner of the map, it's going to be the red Protoss Choya. And at the bottom left we have Dead Pixels, purple Zerg True. Now, Choya's looking to pay him back with a bit of cannons, I would imagine. Deadwing is a map you can definitely abuse this on. But he's got to scout first. He doesn't send out 2 probes, he only sends out 1, so I don't know how dedicated this will be. But he's also not super rushing this out either. He's kind of taking the slower cannon approach, just with a really fast probe scout. Lucky for him, he will scout True. But True with the second Overlord is going to see this probe, and I almost guarantee you he goes for a pool first. I mean, you don't see a probe, yeah, you don't see a probe like this and go hatch early. That's asking for bad things to happen. But it takes a really early pull, quite frankly, not just an early pull. So interesting to see that. Let's see what the follow-up is. He still goes for the forge, but by the looks of it, he's already setting up for the fear of these rocks coming down. I don't know how much he's planning to really put into this. I mean, you see an early pool, that's one thing, but you see an early pool, no gas, how afraid are you really going to be? I mean, 6 lings are not that scary for a cannon to deal with, but for Choya's sake, Deadwing's got a couple of spots you could put cannons down, but I really don't know if he wants to invest into this. He already knows lings are on the way, and by the time the pylon completes, the lings will already be on top of him. So 6 lings starting up immediately for True back at home. He starts up a cannon, really nice, really nice. Sadly, due to the second pylon being placed a little bit awkwardly, I mean, he needed it for supply, but the cost of that's going to be the Nexus. So choosing probes over faster Nexus, not a bad choice. Quick third coming out of True. He does scout that it's a Forge expand, not a fast Nexus with a Forge follow-up or anything. So with this being the case, a couple extra buildings would lock this down. Ideally, you want to put the gateway down anyways, but if you see those lings on the way, you can always plop down that last pylon and fully wall it off if you are really worried about this, but I really don't know how worried he's going to be. The cannon will take out at least 3 or 4 of the lings as they run by, and what's left the probes can normally deal with, but 2 lings getting to the main can be a real pain, and actually, I said 3 or 4. There was no SimCity to run around. He just dives in with 5 Zerglings. This should not have happened with a cannon at the front door. And these probes are not going to have a good time. We do see some pretty slick micro out of Choya, though, immediately pulling back the weak ones, but there's just not enough here to support. Oh, almost gets a kill on the Zergling. But this screws with his mining so badly, and what we're going to see is this number dip down, and every second that Choya is off of minerals like this, that's about 100 minerals lost over the course of the game. It's, or not lost, but I should say more that he didn't mine at this critical part of the game. So, drone's going zappy, trying to pick off these lings. Does get 2 of them, that's huge, actually. But, 3 cannons coming down, because he's putting some pressure on the other side of the map. No wonder he didn't have anything at home. All the money in the world. Can't stop this. Cannon's killed. This is not going well for Choya at all. The nice thing though is he does get the Nexus down, so he can transfer probes if he wants to, but until he's ready to get a Cyber Core out, there's no mothership to deal with this. Zealots can't chase this down. A Stalker, absolutely necessary. But I applaud the efforts of Choya across the map. It was a good attempt, but it wasn't good enough. And now I really fear for him coming to the late game. Normally, you kind of, as the Protoss player, you at least cancel a hatchery, you kill a third, but that sets you ahead in the game. Because Choya's invested so much into this and gotten 0 return, while simultaneously having to defend back at home, it puts him pretty darn far behind as far as openings go. The nice thing though is with chrono boosts, you can make up for the probe count with enough time. Maybe, you know, True plays super passive and Choya's able to go for like a big 2 base all in. But all timings are gone. If he wants to do a big sentry immortal push, it's not going to work. It'll take too long to get the sentries out. He doesn't have the gas count for it. Gas's only just went down at 6.5 minutes. For Choya's sake, this is just a rough situation to be in. I do like that he's using Zealot to chase these, though. If he just kept trying to play with probes, he'd be losing way too much mining time. Lings are going to split off and maybe try and pick off a probe, but if Choya's paying attention, there you go. You should just be able to zap it down. Really fast third out of Choya is a very interesting response, by the way. We don't see this too often, but knowing that his opponent also took a faster third, just trying to match it. The good thing is, on this map of all maps, you can kind of take a third with relative ease. With the point of the fact that everything that comes in through the space is going to funnel in this way anyway, so why not take the third? It's just another bump on the road to your actual game ending. So if he can secure this, put all this attack at the front. It was Grubby in a dream hack. I think it was about 4 dream hacks ago. Had this really sick build. I can't remember who he was playing. It was someone good for Zerg, but Grubby had this really sick like gateway wall off from here to here. It's really cool to see as he locked down 4 bases behind it. But I don't know how far ahead Choya is necessarily thinking. Not only does he not typically play 4 bases, just generally speaking, he's coming up against True, who himself looking like he wants to take his 4th. There we go, pretty darn quick. With Leggings, with Roaches, with what is possibly Meatless later on, there's a lot of ways he can definitely start harassing Choya. I think Meatless would definitely be the best choice, though. If you do see a Protoss player take 4 bases, unless they're willing to invest in a lot of cannons for the defense, it's going to be really hard to keep up with running around with those Meatless, bouncing in, bouncing out, back and forth, back and forth. And it just feels like all too many times. It's not even like Mutalisks on the count of 20 plus in the game. It's Mutalisks on the count of 8 to 10 that end most games. They just take a really long time to do it, but they'll chip away the probes. They force out these weird engagements. They sometimes force all-ins. So for Choya's sake, again, I want to really stress he is playing this game from behind, but he's doing a lot of really cool greedy moves to try and catch up. Playing on 2 bases, that's okay. Playing on 3 definitely gives you the money to actually play this game out, possibly. I say possibly, because it's not, again, not guaranteed that this will get him back into it. But the Infestation Pit's kind of cool to see. A very classic move. It's the meta of PvZ, I would even say. Mass Blink Stalkers and +2, +3 weapon upgrades. If there's a good way to shut those down, it's by holding them in place so they can't blink away. And that's when Fungal Growths really come into play. Now, we do have tech working out kind of nice for Choya. This is, again, that Chrono Boost advantage coming into effect. But, I don't know, I feel so much better for any Zerg player that gets to sit back, get to 70 drones comfortably. And he is on that 70 drone count. He's got a 4th base down. Choya is going to take a little bit of harass through these back rocks. Hopefully he sees those coming. A couple of Force Heals should be able to lock this down. Choya knows these are getting knocked down, but he's not moving to respond. 2 Force Heals will keep this out. True going for, oh god, Enduring Locust behind this. Really going to lay it on thick. And, well, for Choya's sake, he's kind of going to, again, standard Protoss play. You know, Blink Stalkers plus the weapon upgrades. Nice catch on some of these Roaches, but the Sentries are on the front lines and getting targeted down. Meanwhile, he's got to get that second Force Field on the back. Looks like he's going to miss it. The Photon Overcharge dealing a good amount of damage. Immortals are on the way, but the back Roaches are actually focusing down the cannons before they even complete. If you walk these guys through, they might be able to get to that mineral line, but holds at the front for the cost of quite a few sentries. And once again, True. Well, actually, you know, he dedicates so much to this for only 4 sentries. I thought a little bit more had gotten down than that. Cannon or 2 as well. Not too bad of an attack out of True. Creeping up this 4th, Choya not going to be able to move towards that. Immortals, Sentries, Blink Stalkers, lots of Gateways. These are all things that can deal with Swarm Hosts when there's the initial amount of Swarm Hosts, when there's a couple of Swarm Hosts in play. But not when True gets to sit back and make that 20 count, if True gets to make enough to go for against Mutalisks or something. Roaches break through the back rocks. Already there's no Force Fields down to keep these out of the base, so Zealots giving chase back to the main. All these gateways are on the way to completion, but not completed yet, so really only working off of what is about 4 or 5 gateways to try and defend this massive onslaught of Roaches. Doesn't have enough Force Fields in the world to keep this out for days. Mothership Core is going to have to pop another Photon Overcharge, almost guaranteed. Meanwhile, in the main, he's actually losing some of the gateways. The Stalkers warping in should be able to help a little bit, blink retention, but he's not microing in the main. He's focused on what's outside the natural, what's outside the 3rd. So because of this, he's actually losing these reinforcements that he's warping in, and there we go, finally starting to stutter these back, but I can't say that that's really going to shut this down outright. Got a couple more pylons coming down because he needs that supply. Choya a little bit supply blocked almost. Not quite, but about 3 or 4 Stalkers will lock that down. Dark Shrine behind this is a fantastic move. Did this get scouted, though? Where is this building? Yes, in clear sight of True. So he knows that a Dark Temple are possibly following this up. He actually keeps the Roach burrowed. This is a really cute move. Not because it's like, oh, he hit the Roach, but this scouts to see if this gets canceled. It's really a really big deal to know whether this actually finished and got invested into, or if this was a full-on cancel. Several gateways deep powered. Lots of roaches still pressuring the front of the base. Here come the locusts. If Choya can just get past the roaches, blink on top of the swarm host, they're going to die so quick. There's more than enough stalkers to deal with what is small run-bys, but sadly, he is being beaten back here on the front lines, and he needs every bit to worry about these roaches. Oh god, again, these forces are so hard to land because the pylon is down. Ouch! Doesn't quite get it in the main. The Dark Shrine's depowered, but it doesn't matter. You don't need a powered Dark Shrine to actually build Dark Templar, and a couple are warped in. Where did these bad guys go? Are they defensive or offensive? They are offensive. So heading across the map. No, looking for the swarm hosts. Observer, please. Oh, where's the observer? Realizing I think it was too far away with the main army, he decides to disengage off and just go for the counterattack. And this observer here will let him get a couple of the swarm hosts, but they've got so much health. Even then, it's a struggle. Choya, I think, is about out of options at this point, guys. He's struggling to hold on every front, everywhere getting compromised. Third base starting to fall. Choya with a lot of minerals, but no gas to really warp anything reliably in with. No charge on the Zealots makes them pretty much worthless in this situation. The Ling Flood is going to be so hard to chew through. There is just, I guess, well, this is where Zealots could come in handy. I'll take that back, but yeah, the swarm hosts are in the third. They're put directly on the front lines. The sentries are just not numerous enough. Force fields aren't going to be here. BGGG. I don't know what that was about, but True will take the series 2-0 and move on to fight against Journey in the semifinals. But now we're going to take our time to figure